After all the anger and trials, Psyche and Eros finally found common ground in Chapter 9. Eros's one-of-a-kind apology, where he climbed to the peak of Olympus using feathers and sang a heartfelt song, moved Psyche's heart, and they both exchanged promises of eternal love. Olympus and the mortal world seemed to have regained their light after the gloomy days. Olympus, after the seemingly sweet reconciliation between Psyche and Eros, appeared to have regained its inherent peace. The gods resumed their lavish feasts, endless chats, and familiar, pointless trolling of each other. Psyche gradually grew accustomed to the divine life, though she occasionally still felt out of place among the powerful and scheming deities. Eros, aware of his past doubts, always tried to make up for it to Psyche with absolute care and trust. Their romantic dates no longer happened secretly, but openly under the gentle golden moonlight, with vows of eternal love echoing among the ancient marble columns. But this tranquility was merely a fragile facade concealing a terrible storm about to strike. The sky of Olympus, always blue and radiantly golden as if coated with a layer of shimmering honey, was suddenly covered by a lead-gray fog, unusually heavy and gloomy. The weather began to exhibit strange signs, causing the gods to panic due to an ominous sign. Suddenly, a terrifying hailstorm poured down from above, the cold, sharp hailstones, as big as chicken eggs, pattering down on the gilded roofs of the villas, creating deafening noises, and in some places even puncturing them like shattered honeycombs. Immediately after the hailstones melted away, a terrible, scorching heat descended, burning everything. The once lush royal gardens with their rare plants and herbs withered in the blink of an eye, and the sweet nectar streams evaporated quickly, leaving behind cracked streambeds. Then, as if that wasn't enough, mild earthquakes, yet strong enough to shake the sacred Mount Olympus, occurred continuously, causing the nectar-filled goblets in the gods' hands to sway, spilling onto the magnificent robes woven from moonlight and clouds. The scene of Olympus in chaos was truly pitiful. The luxurious mansions, once symbols of the gods' power and wealth, began to show alarming long and deep cracks in their jade-inlaid walls. The intricately carved marble columns swayed violently, emitting frightening creaking sounds, and in some places even collapsed, creating dangerous deep holes. The meticulously cared-for gardens of the goddesses, where immortal flowers bloomed year-round, now withered rapidly, their petals drooping and fading strangely as if their life force had been drained. Even the renowned infinity pool with its jade-green water, where the gods often relaxed and gazed at the mortal world, ran dry inexplicably, revealing barren rocks and a network of cracks. The atmosphere on Mount Olympus became more urgent and serious than ever before. The usual family dramas, the fiery arguments over trivial matters, had now escalated into a potential catastrophe, threatening the very existence of the divine world. Confusion was evident on the face of every god, from the most powerful like Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, to the nameless minor deities, all feeling an unease spreading through the air. Amidst the chaos and fear engulfing Olympus, a dark force seemed to be rising from the shadows. The mythical curses that were thought to exist only in ancient books began to come true terrifyingly. Rumors circulated that this was the curse of Tartarus, the very dark abyss where the defeated titans were imprisoned, an ancient resentment seeking to break free and devour the world. Others believed it was the curse of Hecate, the goddess of magic and the night, who felt offended by the Olympian gods' indifference and decided to punish them by unleashing a dark force from the forbidden lands beneath Olympus, a place where even the most powerful gods dared not tread. Strange signs appeared everywhere, sowing terror into the hearts of the gods. The solid gold statue of Athena Parthenos in the main temple suddenly wept blood, fresh red tears streaming down its cold stone face, its usually resolute eyes now filled with sorrow, creating a gruesome and ominous scene. Thunderclaps echoed, unprovoked, in the clear, cloudless sky, tearing apart the inherent tranquility of Olympus with deafening explosions, causing the gods to jump in fright and wonder if Zeus was angry, even though the sky showed no signs of a storm. On the ancient walls of the palaces, bizarre omens, ancient mysterious characters suddenly appeared, like invisible fingers writing dark prophecies about a future full of disasters, causing the divine scholars to rack their brains, burning through the night trying to decipher their meaning, but seemingly in vain. More concerning than anything was that the power of the gods seemed to be weakening gradually. Their magic became erratic, no longer as strong and stable as before. The thunder god Zeus raised his gold-plated scepter, trying to summon powerful lightning bolts to reassure the panicked crowd. But instead of brilliant flashes tearing the sky, only a few weak sparks flickered and then went out like wet matches. The thunder god's majestic face briefly showed bewilderment, then gradually turned to worry. He felt his divine energy draining inexplicably, like a river slowly drying up in a drought. The war goddess Athena felt her arms heavy when holding the golden spear Aegis. Her usual agility and strength seemed to have vanished, making it difficult for her to even move. The sea god Poseidon helplessly watched the raging waves rise around Olympus without being able to control them, waves tens of meters high roaring like colossal sea monsters, threatening to engulf the sacred mountain. There were even rumors that Hades, the god of the underworld, was also having trouble controlling the wandering souls, who had become more aggressive and mischievous than ever before. Eros was no exception. His ability to shoot hearts was getting worse and worse. He tried to shoot arrows of love to soothe everyone's anxiety and fear, but they flew randomly, sometimes missing their targets ridiculously, and sometimes hitting the wrong people, causing awkward, but also worrying situations. Once he accidentally shot an arrow at Hades, causing the cold god of the underworld to suddenly become sentimental and start giving wildflowers to all the goddesses he met, muttering cheesy sweet nothings, which made Persephone, his wife, furious, summoning Cerberus to threaten Eros. Another time, his arrow went astray to Artemis, the independent and proud goddess of the hunt, causing her to suddenly develop feelings for a stag with an enormous rack in the sacred forest, hugging it and crying miserably over her love at first sight. Eros felt extremely confused and helpless. He didn't understand why his magic had become so terrible. Aphrodite, after her initial panic when she saw her perfect makeup ruined by hail and sweat, tried to regain her composure. She convened an emergency meeting of all the gods in the Great Hall on the summit of Olympus, where lavish parties usually took place, to find the cause of these strange phenomena and how to deal with them. However, the meeting took place in chaos and argument. Each god had their own theory, some believing it was the punishment of forgotten ancient gods, while others suspected a dark foreign force was invading Olympus and manipulating everything. No one offered a concrete solution, and worry enveloped the magnificent hall. Aphrodite looked around, noticing the fear in the god's eyes, and for the first time she felt a real anxiety, not only for herself but also for Olympus and her son. While everyone was stuck and arguing fiercely, Aphrodite suddenly spoke, her voice full of urgency but also containing an unusual determination, a seriousness rarely seen in this drama queen. "I think we should seek out Psyche." Aphrodite's suggestion silenced all the gods, followed by a buzzing murmur like a broken beehive. Zeus frowned, his powerful eyes staring intently at Aphrodite, a hint of suspicion in his gaze. "Why that mortal girl? What could she possibly do? She's not even a true goddess, just a lucky girl who climbed high." "I don't know, but I have a strange feeling." Aphrodite looked towards Psyche, who was standing close to Eros, her eyes filled with a trust that even she couldn't explain. "She is not an ordinary person. She has overcome so many harsh trials, cruel traps to get here to win Eros' love. Perhaps she has a role to play in this, a connection that we cannot understand. I feel she might be the key." Deep down, Aphrodite's extreme worry for her son and for the safety of Olympus had overridden all personal grudges and the pride of a goddess. She realized that in this emergency, any help, even from a mortal, was invaluable. Psyche felt utterly surprised when she heard Aphrodite say that. She was just a mortal. How could she help the powerful gods in this situation? But looking into Aphrodite's pleading eyes and Eros's extreme worry, she knew she couldn't refuse. A part of her also felt a strong curiosity rising. She wanted to uncover the mystery behind these strange events, and deep inside, she also wanted to prove herself to the gods who had once looked down on her. "I will try my best," Psyche said, her voice more resolute than ever, even though there was still a bit of fear in her heart. She squeezed Eros's hand, feeling the warmth and trust from him. Aphrodite nodded, then turned to Eros. "You stay by Psyche's side and protect her. Perhaps she is the key to saving Olympus. I believe that your true love can overcome all difficulties, even the darkness engulfing this place." Eros squeezed Psyche's hand, his eyes filled with love and worry. "I will not leave you, Psyche. We will get through this together, I promise." He felt a heavier responsibility than ever before, not only to Olympus, where he belonged, but also to Psyche, the girl he loved more than himself. From that moment on, Psyche and Eros began to investigate the strange phenomena happening on Olympus together. They rummaged through ancient books in Olympus's vast library, dusty pages containing ancient secrets and legends. They sought out wise gods like Apollo, who had the ability to see the future, and Hecate, the goddess of magic and the night, to ask for their opinions and gather information. Psyche, with her mortal intelligence and keenness, asked questions that the powerful gods sometimes overlooked, questions focusing on small details that might hold important clues. In the process, they discovered an ancient curse, sealed thousands of years ago in a locked chest deep within the dungeons of Olympus. This curse was created by Lycus, a Titan god betrayed and imprisoned in Tartarus by the Olympian gods themselves during the fierce Titanomachy War. In his final moments before being chained in the dark abyss, Lycus swore to take revenge on Olympus and all who lived on this sacred mountain, bringing disaster and darkness upon their world until the very end. The curse could only be broken by a mortal with a pure heart, one who had overcome harsh trials and possessed a true love stronger than the hatred of the gods, a love that had been proven through hardship. Upon learning this, everyone looked towards Psyche. She was the only mortal on Olympus, and her love story with Eros had become a legend, a living testament to a love that overcame all barriers, all prejudices, even the hatred of the gods. So I'm the one who has to break the curse? Psyche stammered, feeling an invisible burden weighing down on her, but at the same time, a glimmer of hope flickered in her heart. She knew this was her chance to prove her worth and protect the ones she loved. Perhaps, Eros squeezed her hand, giving her confidence and strength. But don't worry, I will always be by your side. We will find a way together. I believe in you, Psyche. What do we have to do? Psyche asked, her voice full of determination with no trace of fear left. She knew she couldn't hesitate, time was running out. The curse says that to break it, you must find the heart of Mount Olympus and light the flame of love and forgiveness, explained the aged goddess Hecate, her eyes bright and her voice deep and hoarse. That flame must be lit by your own heart, by your purity and compassion. Only true love and forgiveness can soothe the hatred of a Titan. The heart of Mount Olympus. It sounded like an impossible task, a place no one had ever set foot in, a secret buried deep within the earth. But Psyche did not waver. She knew she had to do this, not only for Eros, for Olympus, but also for herself, to prove that love and compassion could conquer any dark force, even the curse of a vengeful Titan god. Together with Eros, Psyche began the perilous journey deep into the heart of Mount Olympus. They had to traverse dark and damp caves where ghosts and wandering souls imprisoned by Lycus lurked, trying to lure them into eternal darkness. They had to cross deep abysses where icy winds howled like curses, ready to sweep away anyone who dared to set foot there. They had to face deadly traps set by Lycus's dark forces, deceptive illusions that made them lose their way, cruel mental challenges aimed at sowing doubt and despair in their hearts. The weakening of the gods' powers made their journey more difficult than ever. They couldn't rely on powerful magic like before, but had to rely on their intelligence, courage, and love for each other. Throughout the journey, Eros stayed by Psyche's side, protecting and encouraging her. Even though his ability to shoot hearts was lagging, he still used his agility and courage to deal with physical dangers. Their love became a tremendous source of strength that helped them overcome every challenge. Psyche no longer felt afraid because she knew she wasn't alone. Eros was always by her side, ready to sacrifice himself for her. She also learned to trust her instincts and resilience, qualities she had never realized she possessed. Finally, after much hardship and many trials, after navigating a strange stone labyrinth and solving an ancient riddle posed by Hecate herself, they reached the heart of Mount Olympus. It was a vast cavern, shimmering with the magical light of enormous crystals of all colors, from emerald green to amethyst purple, illuminating the carved stone walls depicting the history of Olympus's formation and the war between the gods. In the center of the cave stood an ancient altar, carved with strange images and ancient characters that Psyche had never seen before. On the altar, a small flame flickered, almost extinguished, its smoke carrying an ancient and mysterious scent. "Here it is," the goddess Hecate, who had accompanied them throughout their journey, said softly, her voice full of solemnity and a hint of weariness. "The flame of Olympus. Light this flame with your love and forgiveness. Only your pure heart can defeat the darkness and soothe Lycus's hatred." Psyche approached the altar. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She tried to dispel all worries and fears in her heart, focusing on the most positive emotions. She remembered all the difficulties and challenges that she and Eros had gone through, from Aphrodite's outlandish tasks to Eros's doubts and jealousy. But above all, she remembered the sweet moments, the sincere promises, and the undying love they had for each other. She also thought of Aphrodite, who initially hated her but ultimately trusted her and entrusted her with this important task. She no longer held any resentment or blame towards anyone. In her heart remained only love, forgiveness, and boundless compassion, not only for Eros, but also for all the gods on Olympus, even Lycus, who was shrouded in the darkness of hatred. With a gentle and serene smile, Psyche placed both hands on the small, flickering flame. A warm and pure light, carrying the power of love and forgiveness, radiated from her hands, enveloping the flame. The flame burst forth powerfully, blazing like a beacon in the dark night, dispelling the darkness that shrouded the cave, illuminating the shimmering crystals and the ancient carvings on the walls. A warm and hopeful energy spread throughout the cave, soothing all tension and anxiety. At the same time, the strange phenomena on Olympus began to disappear. The sky turned blue again, the dark clouds vanished without a trace, and the radiant golden sunlight shone down, brightening the entire mountain. The earthquake stopped completely, and the ground became firm again. The power of the gods gradually returned. Zeus felt the divine energy flowing through his body. Athena felt her arms light and agile again, and Poseidon could once again control the waves as he wished. Eros's ability to shoot hearts also returned to normal, his arrows of love flying everywhere, spreading joy and happiness to everyone. Olympus returned to its inherent peace, even more radiant and beautiful than before, as if it had been reborn after a severe illness. The gods joyfully welcomed Psyche and Eros back as heroes. They bowed before Psyche, showing their respect and gratitude to her, a mortal who had dared to face danger and save their world. Aphrodite embraced Psyche tightly. She no longer held any animosity towards her, but instead felt genuine admiration and affection. "Thank you, Psyche," Aphrodite said, her voice choked with emotion, tears of happiness rolling down her cheeks. "You saved all of Olympus. I am so proud of you, my dear daughter-in-law." Psyche smiled. She looked towards Eros, who was looking at her with eyes full of love and pride, his gaze brighter than the stars in the night sky. They knew that their love had overcome every challenge, even an ancient curse full of hatred. Their love had proven its extraordinary power, a power that could soothe all wounds and conquer all darkness. But Psyche and Eros's adventure was not over. They knew that darkness still lurked somewhere, Lycus's hatred might not have completely vanished, and they needed to remain vigilant. However, they were no longer afraid because they knew they had each other, and their love was their strongest weapon, capable of protecting them from all dangers. And so the family drama on Mount Olympus had turned into a battle against a true apocalypse. Love, trust, courage, and even Psyche's curiosity helped her and Eros overcome danger and save the divine world. The rom-com story had given way to a dramatic and moving adventure, but moments of comedy still appeared, easing the tension and bringing laughter to the audience, proving that even in the most dangerous situations, love and humor are always invaluable remedies. Will they be able to protect Olympus from dark forces in the future? Let's look forward to the next developments in this exciting story.